Hello everyone, this is another game review for my Digital Media 2 class. So for this week we had to choose an asterisk game from the list, which are just games that are kind of a little bit less known. Most of them deal with an issue or bring light to something going on in society or the world. And this week I chose to play the game called Spent. Now I didn't really know anything about it before I played it. Hadn't heard of it before, which is usually the case with these asterisk games from the list. But this one was all about money, and it wanted to bring to light the issue of poverty. And so you start out the game, and it's kind of like a role play game where you are someone who is looking for a job and you have a child, and you are trying to kind of just maneuver everyday expenses, groceries, little projects that come up around your house or with your car or your family. So when I started the game, and you come up on the screen and it gives you some statistical information about homelessness, and I think it said that the information is relevant to the Durham area, and then you're just kind of thrown into this world, and you have a monthly rent, and the very first thing you do is pick a job. And I've played it twice now, and there's only 3 options for jobs, and they don't change, but there was like a temp job, a waitressing job, and then a second shift job. I chose the second shift job, which was $9 an hour. There was one other $9 an hour option, and then the waitressing job was like very little hourly pay, but you get tips as well. And right off the bat, you realize that this game is kind of created so that you lose. Because I guess it's just working on like a random generator, or I don't know, because the first thing you do is get the job. And when you get the job, you get paid, and then you have that much money for the month. And then you have to find somewhere to live, because I guess you are moving or you're homeless or whatever. And then you get this cool slider bar, and you have your house and then your workplace, and you get to slide in between. And the closer you are to work, the higher your rent is, and the farther you are away from work, the cheaper the rent is, but you also have to pay gas money. So I chose something kind of, I think I was closer to work, but not like as close as I could be. And just different things keep coming up, you know, like at one point I had to buy groceries. Another point, my kid needed to go on a field trip, and it was $10, so of course you're gonna pay that. One of the first things that I did was have a yard sale, because I couldn't fit all of my stuff into my home, and I got $150 from that, so that was good. But you just quickly see how fast things add up. And so that was kind of my conclusion. Like, the first run through of the game was very like exploratory, and I didn't really know what to do or what the best decision was. You also have to choose an insurance plan, which is, I think it's based off of real life plans through our healthcare system. And I chose bronze, and it was like gold, silver, bronze, or you could choose to opt out. I chose bronze, which is the most basic plan. And obviously there are higher benefits to paying more for your insurance, but with the money that I was making in the game, I knew I wasn't going to be able to afford it. But yeah, so the first playthrough was very kind of sporadic. I only lasted 14 days in poverty, but yeah, so I'm gonna play it again, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just played the game again, and I again only lasted 14 days. I think I pretty much played the same exact game. I could have done a different like job and everything, but I wanted to see if I could go farther with the same circumstances and just like think about money a little bit more reasonably. And so probably the saddest part of playing the second game was that I did like spend less on groceries, but I feel like the less you try to spend, the more things the game is gonna throw at you to try to take money away. Like at one point, my mom in the game reached out to me and needed $100, and so of course you're gonna give your mom money if you have it. I think at that point I only had like $250, but I just gave her $100. It also asks questions like, you know, your tooth hurts. Are you gonna go to the dentist, or are you just gonna go buy some numbing gel from the drugstore, and that was only $5. So I was like, heck yeah, I'm just gonna do that. And then after you make a decision like that, that's obviously probably not, you know, the most healthy or long-term beneficial for you, it like pops up with these blue screens and gives you kind of statistical information about what people do in those situations. I've kind of gotten a glimpse of this, you know, over the last year. I've had to like buy my own groceries and do very much adult things, and the more adult things that you have to do, you slowly see that money runs your life. You know, if you don't have any money, you can't do anything. You can't eat anything. You can't go anywhere. After school, I'm going to have to pay loans and probably pay more rent somewhere. But, you know, the goal to go to college is to make money. And for some people, they don't have those opportunities. They don't have opportunities to go to college. They don't have opportunities to have a career. They have to take the $9 an hour job because that's all they can do. That's all they can afford. And that's all the time that they have. Playing this game made me realize that some people have it so much worse, and it's really sad to see how real that situation could be for someone. I really liked how they jumped back and forth between the game, and then they would give you actual real life information. I'm not usually a fan of role player games because I think sometimes they're, I don't know, they just lack challenge and they lack content, and I feel like most of the time they're really easy to figure out how to manipulate. But this game, it was very straightforward. The graphics were true to the content. I mean, obviously at a game that has such a serious topic, you're not gonna flood with, you know, beautiful illustrations or graphics that take away from what it's trying to communicate. And I think that was really important to the game. I liked the mechanics of it, like that slider bar from the screen where you have to choose what kind of house you're gonna live in. That was really cool. And then on the sides, there's like, on one side, it gives you how much money you have at the moment. And then you actually have some options to do some other things that I didn't really get to play with. And then on the right, it shows you kind of the scale of days and when your next payday is and what day you're currently on. So you're just really working to get to that next payday. So I thought that the graphics for this game, they weren't really elaborate or interesting per se, but they didn't have to be because the game was enough and the game got the message across loud and clear, in my opinion. The black background was perfect, just the plain white text with no decoration, nothing at all. Simple circle forms appearing, you know, some icons, but not enough to where you're overwhelmed. I just thought it was a really, really well put together game, and the content was awesome. It obviously was challenging. You know, I didn't win, and I don't really see a way that you could win because it's just gonna keep pounding you with payments and payments and payments. But that's the concept. You know, that's what people want you to see, is that for some people it is impossible to win the game. You know, it is impossible to make it to next month without having to take out a loan or miss credit card payments or whatever it may be. I really liked it overall, and I could see myself creating something like this. All right, and that's it. I hope you guys have a good one.